Hello everyone, my name is Jeff and this is the Chihayafuru episode 16 review. With me as always is Coby. Welcome to the show, Coby.
Hello, happy to be here through this over the halfway point. Jeff, we got to the point in Chihayafuru where it's established enough to do a recap episode beforehand. How cool is that?
It's so cool and so sad because it means that we're halfway done and just a few weeks from now it's going to be over and we'll have to wait another 6 years for season 4.
But I will just go back and rewatch all the previous seasons once a year at least for everything. I'll set up a good schedule for it, and it's going to be great.
Is it to show people like whoever's keeping track of these viewership numbers? Is it for them to be like, oh man, there's a lot of viewership on this anime. We should give it another chance.
Yeah, and I just want to screw up their schematics too, because I'm going to watch it all the way forward once, and then I'm going to watch it all the way through again, and then I'm going to go from seasons 2, 1, 3, and then 3, 1, 2, and then backwards, just to have some interesting data their way.
I actually legit saw like Young Justice over and over again, and that came back. So I like to think I'm partly responsible for that coming back. I mean,
and we have to acknowledge the fact that we weren't Chihayafuru fans 6 years ago when the second season came out. We just discovered it recently. So like within the last year, and then like a year later, they made a new season. So really it was, I'm going to say thanks to us that Chihayafuru is back.
Coincidence? Probably. But I don't think so. I think it's us.
I like to believe in my heart of hearts. Karuta taught me anything is believe in my heart of hearts.
Yeah, and so what did you think of this recap episode? What did you think of the funny bonus clips?
The funny bonus clips were good. Overall, they weren't as good as previous bonus clip ones, but they were actually good to flesh out some like side characters. Like we learned what the bald husband does for a living. We learned what the store manager thinks when Arata's not there. So it was nice little side quests.
My favorite part was at the end when they were like, "Why are we doing this? Do people even watch this? Is it worth it?" People, they say it's only worth it if we do bonus clips, but they don't watch these episodes, right? And that's a little fourth wall break there. That's pretty entertaining, I suppose.
Because like who says we have to do that? And it's like heaven.
Yeah, your creator.
But that is true. The first recap episode I skipped when I was first watched this, and it was only by the time I got to the second recap episode that I saw that there were funny little things involved, like clips. So I'm like, oh, was this the case last time too? Yeah. So then I went back and watched it and was like, oh yeah, these are pretty funny.
So there were bonus clips in the first season one, because I haven't even looked at the first season one. I'm in the same boat as you. I didn't notice it till season 2. Damn, it's been there all along.
It's been right in front of you. There's more gems to discover about Chihayafuru.
Yeah, it's the show that keeps on giving.
There's something new for everybody, and even for characters that you don't expect to have such an emotional attachment to, you get an emotional attachment. See, and that is my clear segue to talking about the Queen.
Sweet, pretty good. Keep going.
This episode, I thought, did a great job in kind of examining the theme about family and the kind of the friends that we have as they go about this world. And it really was a great parallel between Chihaya, who has established this great family with Destimo and everybody else in that group, compared to the Queen, who only has these cards. And because she is so lonely in her everyday life, she can only make friends with the cards. And that's just sad. That's really heartbreaking.
That is sad. I didn't even make that connection. My brain was turned off, but you were in overtime, because I was just like, yeah, this is a, kind of a break episode before the big Master and Queen qualifier, but I guess there's still some good writing going on around here.
even when it's a setup episode, some good writing, because I think what it did, it laid the groundwork for the Queen winning again, because I think she has to win at this point. And I think so, and that's the brilliance of how the show does things, is that it both set up a good arc for the Queen and to make her an interesting character going into the Queen match, while also being just a great parallel to what Chihaya is doing at that moment in time. So it's overall thematic connection in an episode is just make television that much better.
So do you think that they're going to end up with the very common anime trope where Chihaya beats Shinobu through the power of friendship, and that they become best friends, and Shinobu gets some friends other than the cards?
Yes, it is a common anime trope. Yes, it's going to end with Chihaya beating the Queen. But it's also the show has done such a good job in explaining that karuta is so much more than just yourself. Karuta is like a team. Like, you are a team that you create, and if you can rely on the strength of the others, like what is like a team match is a singles match, and a singles match is a team match type thing. And it's an idea they've been fighting ever since the beginning with the original three, playing together and learning to love karuta together. So if it wasn't like an overall theme of the show, I would say like, man, that's such a cop-out answer. But I think they've just done a very deliberate, very well done job of explaining why that's important. So yes, I think, answer your question, yes, but I think the show's going to make it work.
Yeah, absolutely true. I completely agree. And more than just it being a team match, karuta is like it's a community. It's a culture. It's like this really, it's a subculture, very niche. And there's a hierarchy within that structure. There's like people that maintain it, veterans that come and go, new people, young blood that comes in. And so, yeah, karuta is more than a sport, for sure. And that's what I think is awesome about it.
And you just did another great segue about community, because it talks about this episode also talks about the sport overall and the impact it has. I mean, it was kind of a joke last week about how the karuta king and queen match wasn't going to be live streamed on TV anymore, and we found out, and this week it's going to be streamed online because the karuta sport is evolving as more people are kind of finding it. And I thought that's a very interesting concept to explore, because a lot of sports animes deal with sports that will always be popular, but karuta is such a niche sport and such a hard sport to do and accomplish. It really takes the passion of these individuals to show why this sport's important. And I think, from what I believed and how I read that, was like it's going online because it's reaching a bigger audience, which I think foreshadows more karuta playing overall as the show goes on by more people.
Yeah, and I wonder if that must be a reflection of what's going on in IRL, right? Like karuta matches being streamed online more often than actually being broadcast through television, and the reason for that.
Well, sure, but just sports overall.
There we go. That's true. I mean, it's especially good for karuta though, because as you mentioned, a lot of other sports they're just popular because they're popular. The karuta has been a niche one, and now it's being more opened up through other ways. And I think, yeah, streaming is really interesting because it's kind of a cheaper option to broadcast. You don't really need like any licenses or anything like that. And yeah, it also does bring in more viewers, but particularly brings in a lot of youngins, a lot of young viewers. I don't really think anyone over 30 maybe, or maybe 35 watches streams. So you're gonna have like a whole new waves of generations of karuta players, like us, like you and me, Coby.
Yeah, like you and me, we're gonna become expert karuta players. Check out our upcoming video.
Is it gonna happen?
But it's gonna happen.
Okay, good.
I was saying that because it is weird, because like, how did we both have done that? We've Googled karuta and YouTubed it, and YouTube kind of matches and to see how that's done. I mean, that's a totally different vibe than what's been, because technically, if you think about it, like, I don't know if they'll ever really address it, but like, there's been 6-year gap in between the second and third season, so a lot has happened.
Wait,
but
what?
really, in the time, like in between season 2 and 3, 6 years between air dates.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like in the show.
Oh, in the show, no.
It's been 6
Saying like
years?
in real life, that's a huge difference in terms of streaming and everything. Like
Absolutely.
6 years ago,
Absolutely.
the idea of streaming wasn't very thing. And I bet when the manga was written back at that time, it was beginning to be a big thing.
Yeah.
But that it's so different now when you compare it to, it's like, what, they're not even live streaming on TV. They're streaming on this, what is this called? The internet? What is that?
Yeah.
I mean, I bet in the manga it makes more sense because that's actually reflective of the times where it was written. So I just think that's interesting.
Well, see, that is interesting, because I was thinking the opposite way, which is I wonder if this was an edition made by the anime exclusively. I don't really know if, because I obviously I don't read the manga, but like 6 years ago, that's like 2014, 2013, right? I would say even then streaming was not very popular at all, whereas today it's super popular. I think 2013, 2014, it was like just kind of getting off the ground. There was a good audience for it, but not like a huge audience. And having a karuta stream in 2013, 2014, I think would be very niche, especially it's reflective of karuta being a niche sport and having it being portrayed through a niche medium, which is kind of interesting and ironic in a way. But anyways, I was thinking that was kind of like a recent addition to the show. Maybe the streaming population was already really big in Japan during those years. It's possible.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Maybe it'd be interesting because it's like I vaguely I don't even remember how it went, but it's just like it would be interesting because like in the show they cut to like a young kid watching on his cell phone while doing it, and like I'm sure that wasn't in the manga 6 or 7 years ago. For everything about that, and yeah, I wonder how they. Because like I could see it being like in the manga they just cut out the live stream and then that's it, like that's how. It's because karuta is not popular, but then they, in the show, as reflective of the times today, they adjust it to be like, well, if it wasn't live streamed, it can be broadcast online pretty easily. So let's go with that and adapt to the time. So it'd be really interesting to compare the two.
Yeah, anyone who reads the manga, let us know. What happened? Yeah. What happened 6 years ago in the manga?
What happened? What else do you like about the episode? Or not like? I'll leave it open.
I like that. I'm still, me, man. I'm Team Arata. I love whenever Chihaya mentions Arata and admits her passionate love for him secretly in her own thoughts. Where, especially in that scene where Chihaya was thinking about when Desk Tomu told her way back in season 1, when he was like, the people that you miss at these parties are the people that you really like and love, or people that you consider family. And Chihaya's imagining Arata in the background, having a little brewski with his buddies.
Yeah.
But he's not really there.
He's not really there. I have to say, I have to do on a side note, I think a really underrated pairing in this show is Chihaya and Destimo. Like, I really love almost all of their interactions when it's just like them together. Like, they really bring out a very interesting dynamic, I think, because like Destimo's usually a logical one and he can point out a very, very straightforward part of the game to it, but then Destimo will teach Chihaya something about life, about like logic, and then her passion will inspire Destimo. So I really love when it's just those two talking, and I didn't know that until I saw Destimo walk in on fat Chihaya in a Santa Claus outfit. And just like, ooh, we get another Chihaya and Destimo scene. Like, this is nice.
Yeah, Destimo was definitely one of my favorite side characters, especially way back in season 1. And we were kind of complaining about this last episode, but it's like we haven't really been seeing much of these guys throughout the past season. It's mostly been about, the main trio, but also completely different characters, like Haruta and the mom, Chihaya mom.
Yeah.
And now the master and queen, they're kind of butting in on the screen time too. So yeah, it's nice to have these little moments when we can get them. And interestingly enough, I was talking about last episode how I thought that the whole when Tsukaba mentions that his brothers are never going to mention Santa Claus, I was like, this is going to be a side quest episode, isn't it? And then that ended up not happening, but it actually happened in this episode. And it was Chihaya dressed up as Santa Claus, not Porky, which is interesting. And also I think it's hilarious because they mentioned very briefly in the last episode that Chihaya's sister was in a drama about cell phones that make people fat. Yeah. So it ties into this episode and makes sense as to how Chihaya can appear fat because her sister knows how to apply fat makeup. It's like, wow.
It's such a nice payoff.
What a setup.
Yeah, it's so deliberate and comes with planning, and something that you don't see in a lot of shows of just like maybe like a throwaway line in the first one really justifies everything going forward. Especially with the Santa Claus things, and it works for shows in terms of joke wise, and it works for long-term things. The one thing that that I did not like was Suo declaring his love for Chihaya like way back episodes ago. But that was, we've seen how that's been a kind of deliberate way to get Chihaya and Taichi more involved with Suo, like overall, like it actually works better. And it allows for the scene of when Taichi says, I lied, that she actually doesn't have a boyfriend, that obviously Suo would be invested and give him a good reason to talk to Taichi. So it's just all these little breadcrumbs that lead to kind of satisfying resolutions.
Yeah, it's really impressive. Like, I don't know how far ahead they think on this stuff, but obviously they plan very well ahead, and they make all the right decisions at all the right times and set up these awesome payoffs. And speaking of Taichi and Suo, what did you think about that little conversation Taichi and Suo had about how, Suo has the specific way of playing. Taichi's kind of drawn towards it and stuff.
I loved the interaction between the two because as when the episode ended, we had a big kind of debate about what it meant that Suo, when she said, you're not going to be queen, or like, you won't be queen to Chihaya, and we thought we were discussing what would be the ramifications of that. And it's actually interesting that this episode didn't really address that like as head on, and it focused more on Taichi's interaction with Suo, who immediately jumped Taichi, who learned how to play the game, brought him sweets to play him, and then knew exactly what to say in order to talk with him. And the fact that Taichi is probably the only one who can disrupt Suo's flow, I think is very interesting for the future. Because Taichi's a different type of player than all the other karuta players out there. So I don't know what this means, if this means in terms of, in long term, of if Taichi's going to be the one to, is going to be ultimately needs to be the one to beat Suo because he's the only one who knows how, or if Arata needs to learn from Taichi more of Taichi's movements in order to take the next step, which I think would be an interesting story point going forward.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential there. You can have a situation where the master, either way, the master is not going to be around after this match, right? So you can have a situation where Taichi is like the bearer of that legacy. He is basically inherited the style of play from the former master, and now he is the one bringing this unique style to the forefront. And you can also have a situation where like he represents the person that Arata never got to face. So when Arata and Taichi do eventually go off against each other, Arata will be like facing both Taichi and Suo at the same time to kind of redeem himself, I guess, in a way. Yeah. So, yeah, no, it's good shit. I mean, what more can I say? It's good writing.
It's good stuff. It's good shit. That is what Chihayafuru is.
Yeah. And that's all we talk about for these episodes. Man, this show's some good shit.
It's good shit. We got to find, that's our new goal at the end of the episodes, because you know how, I would say a normal review is you take about everything you don't like and then you talk about the ending. But let's try to find something you don't like about the episode. What could you not like about this episode?
That's a hard question. Do you have an answer?
No, I really don't, because I liked it all. Because it really made, even, I liked the little side quest, even with, the Christmas and everything there, it gave Porky a little more time. It gave, I always forget her name.
Hanano?
No, is that her name? The one who loves Tai Chi?
I think so.
Hanano? Yeah, I liked Hanano with her hair down. Like, yeah. I mean, I thought she was pretty, and I was like, oh, Tai Chi. Like,
Tai Chi, come on, Tai Chi.
Yeah. And she truly cares, and the whole side mission was great. And I teared up, but I was like, I felt the emotion hit me when Scuba started crying when Chihaya left him those knee pads about being good with just left him knee pads to practice more.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, because for sure Scuba was in Scuba. Damn it, Scuba sounds right though.
TSU, like
KUBA, right?
KUBA, yeah.
Scuba sounds right to me.
Yeah.
Because Scuba was definitely in on this plan, but it was sweet that they left him a gift too. I love that moment as well. But I don't know. Yeah, this show has just built up so much goodwill over the past 3 seasons. Even if they did screw up, I probably wouldn't notice it. Like, just genuinely, I take everything in this show on the good faith that it's just good, and that there's a plan setting up for the future.
Is that dangerous?
I like that
for
little
a show?
shot at the end where like you saw all the masters and queens line up. That was awesome.
That was
Suo
cool.
looks like an old samurai master.
And I liked all the comments, when Harada like comes on the scene with BDE, and then he just like swaggers onto everything. And you see all the comments. It's like, oh, this guy's the challenger. He looks like a bear. Like this guy's huge, and like because that's all part of the game. It's part of the image that he's putting out there in order to do it. And I'm starting to love strategy around this match so much more, because I watched something corny online called the Movie Trivia Schmodown. It's like movie trivia, and it's just like, oh, it's just these questions, but there's so much more to the game than that. It's like strategy in terms of when you challenge, of how you answer questions, about how you pick what categories you want to use. There's more around that. And then so like this show has given me more appreciation for that because it teaches me how much strategy is really important to the overall match.
So in a way, you're a sports athlete, man.
Basically, and damn it, I was trying to think of bad things. I'm just still saying good things.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you asked a question earlier. What was it?
Oh, is that a problem for a show? Like, say, if you really love a show and a show is great, even when it's bad, and do you look at it through rose-colored goggles? Like, if you showed somebody right now this season, or even just maybe a few episodes at a time, do you think that they would still enjoy it without knowing a lot of context? Which is hard, obviously, because you don't know context, but do you think they could still get something out of it if they started watching now?
That's a tall order. I would say if they just started with season 3, probably not, because there's a lot of history between these characters that they've carefully set up in the 2 seasons before that. But does that mean that the show isn't good for it? I mean, I don't know. I don't think so.
Because the difference is it's so good now because we love it because it's done such a good job building up these characters where every moment feels earned and in character and right. Sure, I'm sure we wouldn't look at it if characters started acting completely out of character, like if Taichi suddenly stabbed Destimo and hit his body somewhere and turned into a murderer, just it's turned into a dark show or something like that.
That'd be awesome. Or if Harada dies, like how Tori wants Harada's knee to explode and have him just die from that.
I don't see that, and that's the big question. If Harada dies in this match,
it's not gonna happen. But
it's not gonna happen. And that's what I'm saying. So it's like. But the way that they've hinted at his just how his struggles with his body and his heart, how tired he gets.
It's mostly his knee, right?
It's mostly his knee, but you've seen him when he's after a match when he's so tired and he's hobbling upstairs and he passes out and stuff. It's just he doesn't seem super fit for this.
Yeah, so if he died, it would be appropriate still, I guess. It's all in the plan. The writer's plan. Okay, I guess. Okay, sorry. If there's one thing that maybe I don't like, and even then I would say I still like it because it builds up a lot more tension and a lot more build up for the eventual meetup between Arata and Chihaya, is that Arata's not there. Is that he's sick? He's sick. He can't be there. Oh no. But
as soon as you said that, I remembered it's that moment is weird.
I could see someone watching the show being like, that's a cop-out. That's, the classic, ooh, he's sick thing, huh? But even then, I'm like, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with letting Chihaya simmer on her feelings and emotions about Arata before the eventual encounter, because it'll make that much more sweet once it actually happens.
Because she obviously needs to, because she hasn't processed it, I don't think enough to know. It's just I don't know. She doesn't really know what she's feeling. She knows that when she talks to Arata, her stomach is warm and numb, and her fingers are warm, and her whole body.
She's in love, damn it.
She is clearly in love, but she does not realize it, which is unfortunate. But I think imagine this instead. What if Arata? Actually, I don't know if that would fit Arata's character. If Arata chose not to go, because he knew Chihaya was there, and he was afraid after he said that, and he was nervous about repercussions, and so he chickened out and didn't show up.
If that were the case, I would not like that. I feel like that would be out of character.
That feels like a regression.
Definitely does.
As soon as I said that, that's just now we're back to this dancing around when now he's afraid to confront her. But
I'm glad that he's sick and not being
I'm glad that he's puking his guts out. It just looks awful.
Yeah, well, it's another good episode, another setup episode. I'm really excited for the Master and Qualifier matches, which we'll see in the next 2 weeks, I suppose.
Yeah, next, the final question I'll ask is, what do you think Chihaya came to Dr. Harada and told him about Suo's weakness?
Oh, damn, yeah, that was a good, that's a good discussion point, isn't it? All right.
You said that with such you're like, damn it. Now we should talk about that.
No, but we really should. So Harada thinks that whatever Chihaya told him could also be perceived as a strength. Okay, how about this? It's probably the fact that he plays a certain way wherein he tries to bait his opponents to take certain cards, right?
Yeah.
Chihaya could potentially see that as a weakness because then the opponent could then just could just focus on his own board maybe and not go on the attack at all. But then, or I don't know, that because like
something radical. I'll just throw out ideas, see if something sticks.
Sure.
Something radical is that Chihaya knows that Suo plays in a way where he wants to control exactly what cards are picked when. So if you intentionally at least fault or do something bad against other cards, like cards that are clearly easy not faults, or don't get the cards he is obviously letting you get, that's going to throw him off his rhythm and create an advantage.
Okay.
And that sounds wrong just saying it.
No, that's not too bad. I mean, okay, here's another one. What if, because a fault only happens when you get a card that's not red on the opponent's side, or is it on your side too?
If it's on, well, it's different because it's like if it's your side, it's a fault. If it's on your opponent's side, it's a double fault.
Okay. Well, what if you change your cards around?
Right? Yeah, that's a double. Oh, now I don't remember.
Well,
is a double fault only a dead card?
I have no idea. Let's just say it was what we said earlier.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah.
We've been watching the show for 75 episodes.
What if you like change your cards around? Would that mess them up in a way?
People do that all the time though.
But I mean, in a way that's like crazy.
Like
crazy.
He makes a shape out of it. He sends all of his cards away. He doesn't keep any cards on his side. He keeps them all on his opponent's side. That would definitely
favor Suo, wouldn't it?
It would, but maybe that's how you got to take the fight, because your goals. Because it seems like what people try to do is not commit faults against him, right? So I don't know. We'll have to see.
Damn, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to see. Hopefully it gets revealed soon-ish. All right, well, that's all I gotta say. Anything else you want to say, Coby?
Nope. That was a fun episode. Good setup episode. I wish all setup episodes were like this, in a way that's both fun for characters, establishes themes of the shows, and gets us excited for the next match.
All right, Coby, would you like to sign us off?
Sure, you've been watching this on Nerd Blaze. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thank you for all who have commented so far as we talk about this amazing show. Go check out some of our other videos. If you like this video, go check out the video that Jeff did about Chihayafuru. It's great. It's about how his brain was off like a year ago. Like it was shifted in his skull, but then he got it fixed and it moved into the right place, and then he learned why exactly he was wrong.
These reasons why I'm wrong are becoming more elaborate.
That's my new thing.
That's your new bit?
That's my new bit.
All right.
Right? It works, right?
Yeah.